Welcome to More Business, More Life. Today I'm joined with Stephanie Vetter, and we dive into rapport and what it actually means, how to get in rapport. We get you a lot of really good nuggets so that you can start your journey of building better rapport. So come join us.
Rapport is a topic that we've been studying in great detail for many, many months, just through all of our NLP training. And I just was curious. I wanted to look it up and see what the definition of rapport is, because I think most people have a sense of rapport, but it's not maybe studied or talked about enough, in my opinion, because it is such a key component to any quality conversation. So when I looked it up online, I saw that rapport is a close, harmonious relationship where people understand and connect with each other. It's built on mutual trust, empathy, and easy communication, making them feel in sync or having a click. And so I think when I first learned really more about rapport and started putting a focus on it, like bringing it into my professional tool belt, it was to learn how to be better at sales, like to be able to have more sales conversations where I felt like I was communicating really strongly with people, genuinely, to be able to understand them better and to have them like me and just to feel like things were going well. I think my understanding of rapport and just the importance of it in my life has expanded so much further beyond that. So we talk about it a lot in our training and our workshops, and we teach people like how to get in really good rapport with each other so that they can grow their revenue, right? But it I guess goes so much deeper because it goes down to, are you having rapport with the people you meet out in your community? Like when you go to make purchases, is it with your kids when things are going well or when they're not going well? Like, where is the rapport? So I just thought, since you're an expert on rapport these days, we're all becoming experts on rapport, that we could talk a little bit about how we use it, why it's important, like what is it really, break it down, so that our beautiful followers could learn a little bit more about that and bring that into their lives.
Yeah, well, thanks for that compliment. Wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I mean, over the
You
years,
are.
we all have, I think everybody has some level of rapport, right? Else we wouldn't survive. Like you have to
Sure.
have some kind of rapport with others in order to kind of get by. I mean, there's going to be outliers for many things, but you were saying something and then I wrote it down and it's like rapport really touches on all aspects of our lives, all relationships in our lives, right? So it's not just obviously we're geared towards both business and life. And a lot of people come to us for how to have revenue, have more business, and it really starts with the rapport, but that rapport that we teach people easily translates over to the rapport with our loved ones, with our friends, our family members, our children, really anybody you communicate with, it transfers over. And it's so, like you said, it dives so, it goes so much more deep than just like business stuff. Because when you have that ability to connect with somebody, um, in a short period of time. And this is what Steve always talks about, like the way we do rapport connects with people and it shortens the length of time you have to get a business deal or have some more revenue come in. Because a lot of times people are just doing the surface level stuff. Like they're asking good questions and stuff like that, but they're just like going through it in a certain way where they're not actually looking and seeing the person. Whereas how what we've been taught and how we teach people is like, I get to see you across from me, Stephanie. Like I connect with you. I'm looking at you, not through you. I'm looking who you are and I'm being with you. I'm allowing myself to be here so that you can be here with us. And I've seen it so many times and had experiences where you can really connect with people in such a quick time, even without saying anything. That's the ones
Mhm.
that really get me when we go through our workshops and we have people sit with each other without saying anything. And that's when I think it really clicks for a lot of people of the physical rapport, right? Like how that ties into the connection, right? When we have people sit across from each other, not saying a word, and you do physical rapport, and then you get out of physical rapport on purpose, and then they can feel what it feels like, and then be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can see how now in the past I was out of physical rapport with somebody and how it created this palpable, I wouldn't say tension, but a palpable thing in between them when they're trying to connect with somebody, but they're in their own bubble, and then the other person's in their own thing and they're not syncing up. Because what's called mirroring and matching, right? When you mirror somebody, not mimicking them, but you just mirror their main gestures or big gestures, it allows their critter mind, right, to relax and be like, oh, I'm safe. I'm in a safe space, right?
Mhm.
And that's just like one little tool that helps people connect in such a quick way, and it's so powerful. And I've seen so many light bulbs after the after that exercise, like so many light bulbs, and people's like, wow, that's powerful. Just that little piece in itself, right? Just to be able to, and we didn't even say anything. There's like no words, nothing else. It's literally just being present with somebody and seeing them, mirroring them. It allows the mind to just slow down, to calm down, to not be on alert, not looking for dangers. And even though we don't think we're doing that, right? Like our mind is always scanning, right? We can only
Mhm.
consciously be aware of, I think the thing is like between 6 to 8 things consciously that we can process, but our subconscious is processing hundreds and thousands of millions of things at a time, right? There's so much
Mhm.
things that we're not aware of, but it's still running in the background. So to kind of bring that this little thing is rapport can touch so many aspects of your life, and it's so powerful.
I 100% agree with all of that. And you said so many profound things in such a short period of time. And you're right. Certainly, nobody's at a zero for rapport. We all know how to have a conversation, how to see somebody, how to be genuinely interested, all of that. In a sales environment specifically, and now I've been doing more sales training with people that come on to get, teach everybody our methodology for some of our clients. They go, oh, yeah, I know about rapport. And they think of it as, when you go into another business, like you're looking around to see if there's fishing photos on the wall or like something to connect with to get in better rapport with them. And that's not untrue. Certainly that works as well. Like to find some common ground is always, that's always good. But to your point, like rapport is happening from the second we get into an interaction with somebody. And so it's like, do we have our attention on what we're doing and what they're doing enough, to be more intentional about it. So it really, like when we talk about rapport and like bringing that awareness or that concept of like, how do I get in better rapport so that I can have more business, so that I can have more life, so that I can, have these things be improved that I want. It really is, um, am I paying attention to what I'm doing, to what I'm saying, to what they're doing, to what they're saying. So as an example, to what you were talking about, the being in physical rapport and even no words. We do something at one of our workshops where, as we're teaching rapport, we have people sit in front of each other, not say anything. It's horribly awkward first for like a minute and just be in the same space as that person and be very intentional about like, okay, if they are sitting this way, I'm going to mirror them. If they move this way, I'm going to mirror them. So that's being in rapport. And because of that, to your point, the critter brain, it's like that part of our brain that is always on alert and protecting us, like the whole fight or flight thing, it like calms that down, like literally calms down your nervous system, like physically when someone is sitting across from you and they are mirroring you physically. And so it just, by not speaking, we help bring that awareness to like just that piece of rapport. And it's so powerful, like on its own, just that piece. And then we have people get out of rapport where it's like, okay, you sit down, and then the other person stands up. And then just see what that feels like as the person who's like sitting down to have someone standing over you. And I just had this happen recently. I actually went um, to the doctors for something, and that's a whole nother topic. I tried not to go to the doctors, but this was something I had to go to the doctors for. And they were standing above me. I was seated. They were standing above me, trying to ask me questions, trying to make me feel safe. And I was like in fear. It was so unnerving. And I didn't trust this person. I didn't want to tell them things. I felt like they were interviewing me. Like it was just like rapid fire questions. And I just was like, I even like get a little shaky about it now because I'm thinking, especially if you're as someone who's like in a position of power and you are, or you're no, you're leading the conversation or the experience, like that was not a way to get me to feel safe and to open up and for it to be a good experience for either of us. And so, um, that was like an extreme case where I was like, oh my God, I wanted to leave. I was like, we got to go. I'm like, my husband was the same. I was like, we got to go. We got to get out of here. We got to leave. Like, I do not feel okay. So that's extreme. But you think about like how in a sales environment or with your spouse or whatever it is, like if you guys are not on the same level physically, so this is just the physical rapport we're talking about, it is much more difficult to have a conversation where there's understanding, where there's affinity, good outcome, any of that stuff. And it seems like we're picking on it, but it's real. It's so real. Like this whole concept of rapport, and then not a concept, but I guess the act of intentional rapport.
Yeah. And you mentioned something earlier about the like people thinking rapport is something like trying to find a commonality of something
Mm-hmm.
like that. I mean, yeah, I could say like that's kind can be something, but it's not. That's the surface level kind of stuff, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
even again, going to know word, just physical rapport connects more with the person in front of you as a human, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think when people don't understand the rapport that we're talking about, like the deep level rapport, it's like, yeah, yeah, we talked about baseball, we talked about sports, right? And I think that can help like open up the conversation in a way, right? Because then when you start seeing people who are really in rapport,
Mm-hmm.
like if you talk about like they're talking about sports, right? You see two sports fans who love their team,
Sure.
right? They've never met each other, just kind of meeting, and like, oh yeah, I watched, so and so, and then like it's like, oh yeah, and then they start getting into it. You start seeing they'll start mimicking each other, their actions, and the way they talk.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you see friends um who've been friends for a very long time, once they get into like they just start doing actually so funny. I just saw a video, like compilation of friends saying the same, like doing the same thing, like they're recording videos of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then they look at each other a certain way, then they say the exact same word, and then they respond, like they're just like in sync because they're in rapport, such good rapport with each other, like not even scripted, like they did something on their own at the same time. Then they react to each other at doing the same thing, the same reaction, and like it just like snowballed, and they kept doing the same thing. Like, and it was just like
Mm-hmm.
that's rapport. When you start just like mimicking and like it's like before anything even like happens, you're kind of doing that. It's and it just you feel safe and like it's all about layers. Like the rapport is about
Yeah.
like building those layers. And like again, I think this is kind of the base layer of having that physical rapport because it just helps the critter mind um just calm down and be able to be safe kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's like being seen. Like if you feel safe around someone and starts with that physical rapport, then will allow them to to see you, to ask you questions, to keep even going in the conversation. If you've ever noticed just being out of physical rapport with someone and you're trying to leave that conversation, or I was out networking at an event and there was somebody I really wanted to talk to, someone who was like doing really cool things in the community and supporting this cause, and I wanted to go speak with him. So I'm talking to him and the whole time he's like no eye contact, like looking around at other people, looking at the door. And I know that like he's kind of a mover and shaker there, but he was like not with me, like not in rapport. And that I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna, I guess I'm just gonna go. And I had this like cool idea about like how we could collaborate. And it never got there because it just wasn't the opportunity. So I think sometimes it's not just about, okay, are we in rapport with other people? We have to notice when other people are not in rapport with us and like take note of that. And I know Steve will call people on it. Like I've heard him actually call people on it before that he's trying to, maybe a more of a, what's the word? Subordinate position, but it makes it really difficult to get things done if people don't recognize that. So that's why it's like one of the first things that we teach, whether it's team or even clients, it's like one of the very first things that we teach them because it's that important.
I just want to take a short break and first thank you for listening to the More Business, More Life podcast. And right now, I want to give you the most important training that I lead off with. In fact, it's the most sought after keynote speech I've done all around the world, literally from Africa to New Zealand, Australia, all around North America and other parts of the planet. And I want to give that to you free. And all you have to do is text the word life to 72,000. That's LIFE to 72000. So text the word life to 72,000 and you'll gain access to this powerful training. And there is a catch to this, and the catch is quite simple, that you have to want number one, change. If you want change in your life, then this might be for you. Number two, are you ready to take action? If you're not going to take any action, then this is probably not for you. And the third is, are you coachable? Are you willing to try new things? If you have those three things, you want change, you're willing to take action, and you're coachable, then please text life to 72,000 and we'll do our best. Whether we can help you or somebody else, our promise is that we're going to look at what's going on in your life and give you the best next step. And that might be working with us, that might be working with someone else, that might be going and reading a book, whatever it is, we're going to do the right thing for you. So let's design your life and build your abundance around that.
I know you've been in the same room with me when Steve's gone through something. Like he'll go up and we'll do a workshop. We're doing a workshop and he's like, all right, I'm going to show you how all this comes together, right? And like he brings up a guest, like we pick through a hat and like he picks somebody up and like they know what exactly he's going to be doing. And like to still be able to get to such a deep level with somebody in front of a group and allow people, like I've seen him do a presentation and like people like crying, right? In front, and they're in front of a
Mhm.
group, in front of the group, right? And they've been going through a couple of days with the group, so they're familiar with the people. But to then like to to see it in front, like how it actually works in a scenario, and it's so powerful. The reason why I'm bringing this up because like it's so powerful because when he's doing it, he actually stops in the middle, so it's not like a flow, like concise, not concise, but a
Right.
consecutive flow. It's like
Conversation. Yeah.
yeah, he's like he's sitting there with the person, he's getting in physical rapport, he's doing all the stuff that we teach, the keyword backtracking, voice volume, tempo, um, all that stuff, and then he pauses and then he addresses the group. It's like this is what I'm going through because this is through our sales process, right? Like how we're doing all this. So
Hmm.
for you listening, he's going through the sales process of how we do a consultative sell, if you will. But he's the core of it is the rapport that he builds with the person in front of the
Hmm.
group, and they know exactly what he's going to do because we just taught what we're going to do, and yet he does it, and it's like the what is the word I'm looking for? The presentation that he's doing with this person,
Hmm.
like it's maybe we get
I
what
don't
maybe
know.
10 minutes, 15 minutes of it, and
Hmm.
he's sitting in front, they know exactly what's coming, and yet he in such a short time he's able to build such a good rapport. I've seen in the past that he has like he gets somebody and they start crying because he's getting on a deep level with them, he's
Yeah.
asking the right questions, but the rapport is what allows the person to be connected with him and to allow themselves to be vulnerable in front of a group of people that they barely know. Like that's
Hmm.
how powerful rapport is, and then
Yeah.
having the right questions on top of it. And again, it's that layer system, like having that base rapport is such an important key of
Mhm.
the whole process. Like, because we can ask the question, like, like, well, what will having that do for you? And if you're not in rapport, like people are like, well, it does this.
Yeah.
And it's just the surface level stuff, but having that base layer of the rapport is so powerful because it allows, again, getting back to it, allows people to breathe, to be able to be in front of you, and especially in a sales type situation, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, here it comes. Here's the sales thing. Like they're
Right.
bracing for it. It's like, oh, here's the sales
Clenching.
thing.
You're like,
Like
okay, unclench.
yep, they're coming at me. They're
They're
gonna
gonna sell me
they're
something.
sell me something. Whereas like,
Mhm.
hey, no, like I want to talk with you, and if it is appropriate, then we'll move forward. If it's not, but it's that rapport stuff. Like it's like you're
Yeah.
like it's like subconsciously letting them know, like I see you, I see that you're tense. Let's breathe. I'm gonna slow it down.
Hmm.
I'm gonna breathe. All right, I'm here with you, right?
Yeah.
And for people like me who speak fast, right, in general, especially when I get excited, as you could probably
Yeah.
tell right now, because I'm like I'm noticing myself going a mile a minute.
Hmm.
It allows when you can see that, when I can sit there and it's like, wow, I'm speaking really fast. I should
Hmm.
probably slow down a little bit because the person is gonna feel that. And if that
Hmm.
person especially is a softer, slower speaker, then like, oh, okay, let me bring it down to their level to meet them where they're at. And then later on in the conversation, once I have that base rapport, I can bring it up if I need to, right? It's just being aware of it. I think kind of bringing this conversation to like full circle, it's like the rapport is just being aware of who's in front of you and
Hmm.
what's going on,
Yeah.
right? Like you're talking about the guy that you're networking, he's like shooting all over the place. Obviously, maybe he's looking for somebody, a particular
Hmm.
person, right? Or maybe, and this is the cool thing about it, like maybe like that's kind of how his programming is because of something in the past where he has to be
On a
looking at,
swivel. Yeah.
yeah, he has to be looking at stuff because he has to, maybe there's a threat that he's not aware of. Like I know a lot of
Mm.
military people will be like position themselves in a certain way in a room so that they know they can see the exits, that
Mm.
they know they don't allow people to come from behind. And we never know.
Yeah.
That's what the cool thing about this is, that we never know where somebody comes from, but it allows them to be who they are and allows them to calm the mind, right? We don't need to know that they have military service or that they've had some traumatic
No.
experience in their past
Yeah.
or anything like that. The way we are getting in rapport with them allows them to calm down on them on their own, kind of a thing,
Mm.
which is
Yeah.
I find so powerful.
Yeah. I think that talking a mile a minute is because you're passionate about this topic because you've seen the power of it and so simple, right? Just to be able to sit in front of someone else and to be so curious and to just get on their like map, if you will, just to kind of be in their space without your own agenda too is, I mean, I know when I brought some of these different tactics and you've kind of touched on it, like there's physical rapport, even like, which can include if you're sitting across from someone, like even getting into the same sort of tempo of breath that they're in is something that can help calm people down and make them feel safe and trust you. Like the level of trust when you can get into physical rapport with someone just goes through the roof so quickly. That's how like Steve is able to get, to have like more meaningful conversations and go deep really fast with people because they just trust. They just trust. So there's like the physical, it could be the breathing, it's eye contact, it's like am I speaking around the same speed as they are? Am I, if they speak really loudly, am I speaking really quiet? That's going to create like it's not that they're not going to like you or that you can't get business done, but just to be able to see when you're matching people on all these different layers of physical rapport, what can happen. And I know because I was able to, after I learned that, and I actually was so fortunate to be one of the demos at Steve's workshop. The first workshop I went to, you actually had to like apply or like put your name in the hat if you wanted to do this. And I was one of the ones that was chosen. And so I was really surprised at what I shared as he's like interviewing me, asking me questions, in a sales type environment for his services, which I obviously ended up buying. Um, what I shared in front of a group, and I felt totally fine to do that. So it's, yeah, and then there's more nuances to rapport, but to your point, it's like it's just so important. I don't know if we've done a podcast about rapport. Maybe we've touched on it a lot in different ones, but it definitely has just long overdue to have its own little segment here.
Yeah. And I kind of touch on what you were saying is like there's all of that stuff is what we say is like it's pace lead, right? So you kind of follow the person that's across from you. If you're the one initiating, right? And if we're
Yeah.
speaking specifically about like sales, you're the one kind of initiating, you get in rapport with them. Like you mirror their movements, either if you can get in their breathing tempo, if you're doing it if you're in a physical room with together, it's a lot easier to see them breathing versus a video call or something like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you pace them, you follow what they're doing, you do the keyword backtracking, we do all the stuff.
Yes.
And then once you feel like it, you have that rapport, you test it, right? You shift your weight to a different weight, and if they follow you, then you know you're in rapport, you got that rapport kind of a thing.
Hmm.
And then that's when
Yeah.
you can start leading and you can start bringing up the
Yeah.
pace a little bit, the tempo or changing and the voice, all this stuff. You can start having more, I don't want to use the word control, but you have the ability to lead the conversation more the way you would
Influence.
like, influence the way you
More
would like
influence.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing, right? Like that's the whole that's how we kind of see sales is about just like influencing people for the right things. Like we want you, like if we know this thing's gonna help you, right? And you have to use this stuff for good because you can definitely use it for bad, trying to influence people. But you can, if you're using it for good, and you know that your product or service will actually help somebody,
Hmm. Yeah.
then it's our duty to help show them that we can help you with this thing, whatever it is that you need. Um,
Mm.
but
Yeah. Discovering a match is what, we always say, like, really, we're in sales to discover if what we have is what they need. And so we have to go through very specific questions, sometimes very deep questions. Like we have to get all the information so that we can make an appropriate recommendation. And I'll tell you, when I started, I had already been in sales for, gosh, maybe a dozen years before I had met Steve and adopted some of these different philosophies and some of these different techniques for sales. And like right away, my sales performance improved. I mean, I know we talk about this on the show. Like I was able to do a lot, like have really high revenue and really high closing ratios because of the conversations that I was in were with the right people, and I was able to get in rapport with them and they felt like I was on their team. Like I was on their side and it wasn't me coming in to try to sell them something. I was coming in and then it was like I became a partner. Like metaphorically, we're sitting on the same side of the table trying to solve a problem for the business or trying to help them achieve a thing that they really wanted. And it was through that rapport that, I doubled, tripled, like quadrupled my revenue without adding more time to my day because I was able to get there quickly just using some of these techniques. So, yes, muy importante.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a powerful tool once you learn it, and it's not hard. It's just being aware. I think like the biggest thing is just like just learning it, and even just like we've touched on a lot of it and didn't even go into much detail, but if you listening can just take a moment when you're with somebody, your significant other or a colleague or whatnot, and just notice their body language and then try to mirror it just to notice like how you are, and you'll notice the shift in the rapport and just the basic stuff. And obviously we go deep into it in our workshops to really help you teach, and it's a progressive thing. You like the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's just a practice, and it is again a super powerful tool. We teach all of our clients how to build rapport, and and then with rapport with self as well. Like it helps you become
Mm,
more in rapport with yourself, and that's like an even deeper subject that we could talk about rapport with self, because that changes the whole trajectory of your business and your life once you can start building a stronger foundation of self-rapport in that. But
mhm.
would you anything you want to leave us with, Stephanie? Any insights or any things for people?
Hmm. I feel like we pretty well covered it. I think what you said, just leaving people with, just be aware, like when you're in a conversation and it's going really well, what's happening in that conversation. And also be aware if you're in a conversation or having an experience with somebody or multiple people and it's not going well, like take stock of what's happening physically, what's happening with the words, and more specific to like, it could be the volume, who's speaking fast, who's speaking low, just, I don't know. That could be a thing. Just kind of see what you notice with that, and then from there, you can make some adjustments on how you show up.
Love it. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got some value out of today's podcast about rapport. And if you try some of this stuff, let us know how it goes and what what you kind of noticed as you were getting in more rapport with others and how it went for you. Until next time, choose gratitude, create freedom.
Thanks for listening to the More Business, More Life podcast. I hope you got value. And if you did, we have so many more things for you at stevenapolitan.com. You'll be able to connect with us on social media. We are active. You can ask us questions. I look forward to having you on the next show. Until then, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.